Hey everyone, my name's Brittany and welcome to Carrots and Olives. Today we're going to talk about 3 tips for brush lettering for beginners. Well, let's get started. Okay, so tip number 1, find a pen that is comfortable to use for you. So the most important thing for brush lettering is the pen. You may have to make sure you find a pen that you like to use, because then it makes brush lettering that much more easier and more fun to do. 3 brush pens brands that I will suggest are the following. First, I would suggest getting a Tombow brush pen, mainly because let's say if you don't like brush lettering, or you end up not liking brush lettering, you could still use these pens for other things. For instance, you can use them in watercolor because they are water soluble. It is a dual tip pen, so you can use it in your journal for bullet journaling or just for drawing and coloring as well. Next, I would suggest the Tombow Fudenosuke brush pens. They typically come in a pack of 2, with the hard being like the blue barrel and then the soft being a black barrel. These pens are pretty inexpensive. They are calligraphy pens and they are not water soluble, so they are meaning that they are permanent. And you can just use them if you don't like brush lettering. You can use them to outline drawings or writing like a marker. And once they dry, you can actually paint over them. So this is the second type of pen I would suggest. And then the third type of pen I would suggest is the Zebra brush pens. Or the Zebra Fude brush pens. They typically come as singletons, or you can buy them in a pack of 2 or 3. They have different brush nibs and different brush nib sizes. The Tombow pens you can buy either from your local craft store or on Amazon or any other online shop. They're fairly easy to get a hold of. Same with these Tombow pens. There is a Tombow online store that you can buy Tombow products from. And then Zebra Fude calligraphy pens you can also pretty much buy from any online Japanese store, and also Amazon. The next tip is to find a place where you will hold all your handwriting practice. So, for example, I started off practicing in a very cheap notebook. Whatever was lying around the house, I would practice in. Even notebooks that were partially filled notebooks. I had typically tended to go through the pages pretty quickly. So I would suggest grabbing a notebook you can find at like a Target or a Walmart and use that. When you get a little bit more comfortable, then you can move up to, I would suggest moving up to better quality paper like Rhodia and copy printer paper that has a smoother texture, Bristol paper, or even Tomoe River paper in notebooks like the Nanami notebook. You can even buy Tomoe River paper as single sheets. Starting off very inexpensive, because if you're not sure you really like writing with brush pen, then you don't have to worry because you didn't spend too much money on very expensive paper. And lastly, I will suggest practice, practice, practice. Now, I'm not going to be one of those people who tell you practice every single day and don't stop till you drop type of thing. Everyone knows that with more practice, the better you get. I will suggest to practice when you can, practice when you feel like it. Just make sure you don't give up, because practice does make for a better brush script writer. So here is when I first started about a year ago, and I was writing really big because it was easier for me to try to work on my brush strokes. And so I like things to be pretty and organized, and usually once when I would make a mistake, I would just stop and jump to the next page and try to do it all over again. So that's why I suggest practicing. You can see I was practicing with different nib sizes or brush sizes. And I rarely actually practice on the back of the pages. Now, when it came to brush lettering, I have been brush lettering for about a year and a half now. I started after watching a video on YouTube, and I was really inspired. Whose video it was, I am not 100% sure, but it really inspired me to start brush lettering and learning techniques on my own. I would say for the most part I am self-taught, other than watching YouTube. You do see tutorials from other YouTubers and some people who actually offer practice sheets. I never did a practice sheet because I felt like I could practice on my own in my own notebook, and that's pretty much what I did. Not to say that those practice sheets aren't good for you. If you feel like you need a practice sheet, by all means, try that out. Not everyone needs a practice sheet. You can also just practice on your own in your own notebook. So you see here all of my practicing, and I have probably 6 more books just like this of all my practicing. And I am happy to say that it does get better over time. You do get more comfortable, and once you do, then you could start experimenting with other pens. I am going to end this video by saying that I am in no way an expert. I just enjoy writing and creating with different types of pens and stationery and paper and all that fun stuff. So I hope you guys find this video helpful. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Bye.